You said, do you think it's because they might think that the industry fluff and the system, there's an upside?
Yes.
I think they absolutely think that.
Okay.
And I think that's what happens
All
when,
right.
if you instantly sign, right? You instantly sign. And now you experience all the success after you instantly sign. There's an insecurity in you that says, yeah, I don't know if I could be successful indie because my success came post label. So I don't know if I could get all this same shit independent. I wasn't getting it independent. I didn't get it till I was on a label. For me, it's different. And I know that for me, I understand I'm an anomaly, but I also understand that other people could be an anomaly too. My song was in What They Want was in Rap Caviar when Tuma Basa was still running Rap Caviar. It was in Rap Caviar months and months and months before I signed to Columbia. I didn't even know what the fuck Rap Caviar was. You know what I'm saying? Like I was selling out shows overseas before Columbia. So for me, I saw the success that I could have indie, that I was having indie. I signed because that was when I was looking around like, well, I want radio. And I hadn't had radio figured out yet, right? So I signed to like level the playing field with radio until I learned that radio is two fucking people. That's when I dipped. But for a lot of these artists, if you never experienced independent success,
what's harder, radio or streaming? I it's figuring out the radio ordeal where I get what you're saying. You're trying to figure out how do you get on radio. What's harder to figure out? How do you get on radio, or how do you get on these playlists that could exponentially blow your song up or bring you to another fucking level?
Harder to figure out is, I wouldn't say either of them are necessarily harder to figure out. I would say radio is more cut and dry. Radio is more,
it's either you got the bag or not.
Yeah, you hire a guy and radio either likes your song and you have the money to work it, or you don't. Simple. Playlist, even when I was on a label, I was not sitting in Rap Caviar every time. I wasn't in Today's Top Hits.
That's why you left.
Like, huh?
That's why you left.
I mean, but you sold more through the label.
Hold on, Russ. You've told this story before. You literally said, "I fucking left after I realized these niggas could not guarantee me that shit." Right? Which is
exactly
right. Like they can't guarantee you. However, I'll definitely say this.
Hold on, and to the point of selling more, a lot of people are confusing the bundles. Y'all forget that bundles used to be a thing. So when y'all are looking at first week and all this shit, we were doing tours and ticket bundles and merch bundles and all these things. That had nothing to do with streaming and actual sales. Because if I could have bundled this tour I just went on with a fucking project, it would have done the same Columbia numbers, etc. And
I mean, can't you still bundle, but it got to be within the week?
No, and for the record,
no, just did that.
Handsomer went platinum in 8 months. That's the quickest I've ever had a song go platinum. And I was on a label. So the like narrative of you were selling more with them. How? I caught my biggest song without him. Handsomer was my first top 40 Billboard song ever. Best on Earth didn't do that. Losing Control didn't do that. None of that. So once again, the narrative of like, you sold more with the label, you did more with the label, you were more sick. It's just not true. It's just,
Russ,
not
be honest.
true.
Okay. No, you're right.
What would you tell an artist like YoungBoy or like 6ix9ine who kind of goes through like the blackball thing? Like a 6ix9ine, like would he just need to just be like forget all this and just kind of just do everything himself to kind of bring back that glory?
YoungBoy is blackballed. What is this? Is like I think we're saying the same thing. I think the word blackballed is just being used incorrectly. If you're still on the streaming platform, you're not blackballed. You're just not getting pushed and promoted.
Well, look at how they do 6ix9ine. They treat 6ix9ine like he doesn't exist, and he does like 8 million monthly listeners every month.
But what do you mean they treat him like he doesn't exist? They don't promote him?
None of that. They don't really put him on like, okay, this person just dropped out. Like, I follow 6ix9ine. I like his music. I don't even get a notification that Russ dropped, that he dropped.
They don't got him on the showroom. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's blackball, bro. Niggas in the chat saying demoted, bro. It's not a demoted, nigga. It's a blackball, bro.
It's not a blackball. How?
Russ. Russ. I feel like we're like stuck on arguing over like colloquials right here. Like we're arguing over the word.
Possibly, but it's like at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't make sense. If I go into Walmart and Walmart this time around on my album doesn't have a banner around the store saying Russ just dropped an album, I'm not going to say they're blackballing me. I'm just going to say, what happened to my promotion? How come y'all aren't promoting me like y'all used to? Oh, well, you did X, Y, and Z, and we don't want to promote you this time.
If they permanently never put your album out on the floor again, and people have to ask for it.
No. Hold on, because that's not the same. No one's having to, like, where's their music at? I can't find all these artists. Type in their name on Spotify.
By the time
you're acting like it's
I'm gonna be honest with you, the niggas that's blackball. Like, listen, you type in Tory, nigga don't even come up with lanes. It comes up with like some random other nigga. You gotta type in the whole name, nigga. Like the whole name. Like it doesn't even autofill. It don't even autofill, bro.
Hold on. First of all, that's not true. I'm on my Spotify right now because I just wanted to see if that ridiculous shit was even true.
Well, it don't happen on Spotify. It happen on Apple.
The first thing that pops up when I type in T is Tory Lanez.
Yeah, because you've been going to a shit recently because you've been invested in the topic.
Oh, wait.
I'm not gonna lie. Same for me.
Hold on. So let's go with that theory.
All right, go ahead.
Because I've been going to Tory Lanez's profile, now when I type in T, his name just pops up. Sounds like if I was just a fan of him, it wouldn't be that hard to find.
Russ is. This is why I hate Russ for this conversation, because like most of Russ fans listen to his music. Most of these other artists with followers and listeners, they play this. A nigga might have heard a Tory Lanez song. They might have heard some shit from the Chicks tape when they were just typing in sex playlist. Real talk. That's just how it goes, bro. Like, I know, like, Russ, you're used to people just typing in Russ. But, like, a lot of times niggas is like, they're in the gym. They want to hear something for the gym. They want to hear turn up music. And they might hear some new shit, but it's lit. They might like, what's that artist? And that's how they get on. There's not many people who's just like, oh my God, we're just going to only listen, except me with Drake. But like the majority of people are just looking up like moods. People look up moods. If you go to Apple Music, go to browse on Apple Music. It'll ask you. I'm not
saying.
If you go to browse on Apple Music, it'll ask you, how are you feeling? If you say, I'm feeling happy, he has a playlist for that. Oh, I'm feeling sad. Oh, it's raining.
I get it.
That's what it is, bro.
I'm not saying that nothing is happening, that like, like Spotify is not doing anything, that they're just, they're innocent. Okay. What I'm saying, and you're right, I think we're arguing over colloquial terms. In my opinion, and I feel like in the definition of the word, blackball is you don't work here anymore. You can't get hired. You can't get a job. You're not allowed to sell your music in our store anymore. You're blackballed from the store. Now, us not promoting you as much as we used to because of some shit you did outside of your music is unfortunate, and you fell out of favor with us. But you're not blackballed, because here's the thing, what would you call it if these people's music got removed from the platform? That to me is banned. Like, you're blackballing them. You're
that's not blackball.
Allowing them or allowing their fans to listen to their music. You're blackballing them. But currently, fans can still listen to all these people's music. They can still find it. They can still access it. And not only that, Spotify and Apple are still paying these guys who are saying that these companies that are cutting them checks are blackballing them. They're not blackballing them. They're just not promoting them anymore like they used to, because the brand alignment isn't safe. So they've taken a neutral stance where it's like, listen, we're not kicking you off, but we're also not shoving you to the front of the store.
Okay.
And it's just, and in my opinion,
some people don't even get radio play. Like,
hold on. Yeah. Hold on. And I hate to use this extreme example because it's so bad and it could backfire, but I got to use this extreme example. So, again, not that he don't deserve it, this and third. You trying to tell me that R. Kelly not blackballed, bro? He used to, like, you tell me that he's blackballed. Like, he's blackballed. Again, if a customer wants it, you could get it, but it's heavily incentivized and promoted for you not to find that shit.
No. Hold on. This is why this doesn't make any sense and why it's all entitlement. Why is it that if I'm not, because why this is a slippery slope? Every song I put out from here on out, according to y'all's theory, if it doesn't get put in big playlists, I can run around, stomp my feet, and say I'm being blackballed. Or
I think your numbers should dictate that. I think your numbers should dictate that. So, for example, if I look at Russ and I'm on Spotify right now. So if I type in you, right, and I go to your artist page, right, and we see the numbers you normally get when you drop songs, I think there's a range depending on how your song will perform. And by the way, just, you know the job of a program director, right? So theoretically, this is how a program director claim they work, right? Hey, we get a bunch of songs. We're going to program the song that we believe that will have the highest user retention to our platform. What's a platform? Radio. Same thing with YouTube. Recommended is supposed to be, hey, y'all usually watch the majority of this guy's video when it drops. We're recommending it at this percentage rate, right? Now, again, if it's only based on that, okay, cool. Go by the numbers, right? So again, if we're not talking about an artist that was blackballed or never got the chance, I don't think if you went from every song you did getting hundreds of millions of streams and then you went to 30 to 40, of course that's still good. Congratulations, that's still amazing. However, that limiting your reach or limiting the people who could see what you're doing, right? Based on the numbers not even substantiating that, is kind of, maybe we don't want to call it blackballing because we're arguing over the term.
Yeah, because exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's all entitlement. Because guess what? The fact that they can take it away lets you know it wasn't yours in the first place. So how are you feeling like, oh, how are you going to strip me of this shit? How are you going to not give me this? Because I don't have to and it's not yours. It was a privilege that we as a company decided to promote you. You've now done shit that we don't fuck with, and it's not safe for brand alignment purposes, so we're not going to promote you anymore. To then turn around and say, well, y'all are blackballing me, it's like, no, they're not. They're just being a company and not and focusing on safe brand alignment. But to be entitled and say, I'm owed y'all's promotion. I am owed that. Y'all have to give it to me, otherwise it's fucked up. That sounds like
certain artists did get shadow banned though. Like shadow ban was an actual thing though.
What?
People were getting shadow banned. There's been a couple of artists that have been shadow banned.
Bro, I've been hearing shadow ban from like women on IG and did for like 10 years. That shit always just sounds like
got shadow banned before.
Post on
Yeah,
shit.
no. Shadow ban on IG is definitely real.
No, shadow ban is real. But
No, that's definitely real. You're Russ. You're Russ. You got him. You know shadow ban on IG is real. Like, but I get it. That's Instagram.
Hold on.
That's Instagram.
But I don't.
What?
It is though.
Nah.
It is real.
But here's the thing. Once again, my point. If you are an artist with 10 million plus followers and your access to your fans and communicating with them has not been revoked, and you can still tell your fans, hey, I'm doing this, and you can still run ads on IG, and you can still run ads on, etc.
Okay, but Russ, look.
Hold on, let me finish the full point. If you can still reach all your fans and say, hey, I'm putting out music, and the streaming platforms aren't sitting there saying, you thought you were putting out music, that shit's not coming in our store. You're not blackballed. You're just not getting promoted like you used to. But to be entitled to a luxury that was never yours to begin with, well, I mean, I just don't understand the stance of like this immature entitlement.
The way that the metaverse is set up, if you have 10,000...
Hold on. Like, for the Instagram point, what I'm saying is, you can say that, as long as people can see your shit, but most of the nigga shit come from their homepage. So if you're shadow banned from there, it's kind of the same as Spotify. So if you're shadow banned from your homepage, you might post on Instagram, but it's niggas that probably won't see your shit for months upon months upon months. They like you, they listen to your music, they fuck with you, but they'll never know you posted until they go to your page, like type your name in and go to your page. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that's not fair? That's not fair. Like, but you can see like bitches shaking their ass or like bitches in bikini pictures or some shit like that on your homepage. Shit that's not, you don't even follow. Right. Before the niggas that you follow.
Yeah. But shit like that sounds like what Instagram has done, where they're trying to make you to pay and run ads to get all your followers to see this shit. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, you're Russ. Yeah. I think we have a fundamental, like,
Okay, but like once again, it sounds like what we're talking about in the whole stance. This is my opinion. It feels like the stance is this sort of just like stomping our feet, and it's not fair. It's like, how old is everyone?
No. Well, hold on, Russ.
That's how life goes.
Russ. I think we have a fundamental disagreement on like what's entitlement or what's privilege, and also, respectfully, I think you might also not see things the same because maybe some of these things have never affected you. While you've never been overly favored, you've never been overly affected. Like, for example, Like there's
Well, hold
many
on, but
people.
we don't know that because
Well,
maybe if I wasn't overly hated or whatever, then I would have gotten X, Y, and Z play. Who knows what I'm missing out? All I
hold on.
know
Yeah, but
is that
even hold on. Okay, so that's the fluff. But there's a negative side to it. Like for example, so you have the fluff, and then you have, hey, you're not being visible without people going out of their way. That's where the shadow banning comes in, right? So obviously we're talking about social media platforms with that, but it's like you probably have never seen the effect of, like, again, you have a humble like 4 million followers about now. Like, you probably see dope engagement, but you've never seen something too crazy. But you've never seen you post something and maybe only 8,000 people like it. And
bro, hold on. Go look at my Instagram. My shit gets. You would think my shit is fake, and like the thing with
I'm about to go
me,
look.
why I
Maybe you're
don't
right.
give a fuck, is because my Instagram right now, I get less likes than I did 4 years ago. But guess what? I also did this year. Hollywood Bowl, 17,000 people, the biggest show of my life. So clearly, that shit doesn't fucking matter, which is why I don't give a fuck about it. I
Nah,
could
Russ,
sit
they
there and be
love you
like,
on the gram, man.
man, it's fucked up. I'm only getting 20,000 likes on my shit. I was getting that when I was fucking had 200,000 followers. What the fuck's going on? This is some bullshit.
Nah, Russ,
But
they
then I
love
step
you
out
on
on
the
stage,
gram. I'm
biggest show
looking
of
at
my
your gram
life.
right
I
now.
start,
Yo, Russ, for your follower count, you're busted on the gram, bro. I'm telling you. Dog, you just posted some shit 11 hours ago, 4,000 comments, like
that's because
23K.
I told people to comment. That's not that. Come
Okay,
on,
all
you know me.
right, cool. The last time you posted like an actual picture, which this is still, okay, you're talking about Ed Sheeran, still great engagement. Bro, like, you're good on the gram. Yo, your engagement on the gram for your follower count, lit. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are times, if you ever got shadow banned, you'll post, it could be a picture of you, or it could be a picture of you, it could be a picture of you performing, it could be a song, it could be you talking. You're going to get 4,000 likes, brother, and like 200 comments. Like, it's
That, bro, what? That has happened before, and then I delete the
never.
picture because I'm like, this is embarrassing.
That's real.
But what I'm saying is that shit clearly doesn't hold that much weight in real life. And there was a part of me that definitely got worried, like, well, wait a second. If my likes and everything is down, what are these shows about to look like? It's about to be crazy. But I step out on stage and it's the biggest show of my career. I'm like, all right, so this Instagram shit is fucking fraudulent. Like, what? I can't even put any stock in engagement and worry about shadow banning and
Yo,
because it's easy to go down that rabbit hole of like, fuck, man, I'm posting my tour dates and I'm getting 200 comments. Like, is anyone even coming to these fucking shows? Like, what's? But then
yo,
you step
Well,
out on
yeah.
stage and it's crazy and it's like, oh, all right, so
once
why don't
again,
you?
you're a one of one. These artists, like, I remember
No,
Designer,
but you can't. Yeah, but you can't keep
the majority,
dismissing.
the
You
majority of
can't
these
keep
guys,
dismissing
they use their
evidence
engagement to
that
figure out when they drop a project, when they go on tour, where they show attention to. And again, like, you're one of the different people where, like, even if you got 5 comments, you know there's going to be motherfuckers that show up to the tour, right? When Designer says, yo, I'm going to drop my album when y'all get 15,000 likes, and it gets like 300, like, this actually did happen on Twitter. Bruh, like, you know what his label is saying? Nigga, abort mission. What the fuck? What we doing? Because again, they're not
I
you.
understand what you're saying. The point I'm trying to convey is that Instagram and all that, it clearly doesn't hold as much weight
To
as we
you.
think. And back to the Spotify point,
Okay.
what Instagram has done is, hey, it's pay to play. You got to pay to reach your followers. That's unfair and it's bullshit because it didn't used to be like that. But guess what? That comes with that's what comes with being on a platform that you don't own. They make the rules and then we're just fucked. Similar to Spotify, I don't know if y'all know this, but Spotify offers marquee campaigns, right?
Do you use
Marquee
those?
campaigns, anyone can access them just on your back end on Spotify. You spend money on the first week of your release, or it could be on the first 2. I think you have 2 weeks after your song's been out to do it. You spend money, and the more money you spend, there's a dollar amount to reach all of your monthly listeners. If you have 90 million monthly listeners, it's going to cost 500 grand. If you have a million monthly listeners, it might cost whatever. But it's very similar. And I experimented with the Spotify Marquee campaign because I was like, how much validity is there in this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I did notice a big difference.
Really?
You know, I spent a shit ton of money on the what's it called, on Are You Entertained with Ed Sheeran, because I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah, you say you spent $300K.
I spent $300K on the video. I'm talking about the marquee campaign. I spent crazy amount of money because I was like, listen,
that shit worked.
I was like, if this is my last, who knows? This might be my last song with Ed Sheeran. I may not get another song with an artist this big. And when you have a featured artist, you can tap into their monthly listeners. So you can spend money and reach their monthly listeners and everyone that they've collabed with. So I was like, oh, what? I'm going crazy on this. So I spent money that allowed me to reach all of my monthly listeners and all of Ed Sheeran's monthly listeners. And that was the first, my song did. Now for me, this was crazy good. For other people, may not be good. I'm just saying for me. For me, first week, 10 million streams on Spotify. I've never gotten fucking close to that. You feel me? So I was like, okay. I'm like, okay. Clearly,
Russ,
this is like Instagram.
Hey, Russ, I ain't gonna lie to you. Yo,
to play.
I think, by the way, we have a lot of artists, and I know for some of the regular fans who are just used to the regular bullshit we usually do, this is a really important conversation. So there's a lot of artists who are tuned in, and someone pointed out something very important. And by the way, I would love to see this, even on Tory's side too. Somebody said, yo, when you ask these artists or you see their stats from what editorial playlists have contributed to their streams, is going to be disingenuous, because if they're showing the last 28 days and the song's been out for 9 months, usually editorial playlist carries the song for about 60 to 90 days and then they move on. So if you're not seeing the entire shelf life of the song, it's probably disingenuous, because if the song's been out for 9 months and they only
that's
show
why I
you,
posted the Are You Entertained stats, and it was still majority listeners playlist in my profile.
did you post the entire the entire life of the song, or was it the
It's only been out 35 days, 42 days, some shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm getting that's the one with the 3%?
No, that one had higher. That one was 20, 23.
Okay.
Between algorithmic and editorial, some shit like that. I can look it up right now.
Okay, because I think what we were looking at Psycho Part 2, and the 3% was like, yo, it just made it seem like editorial playlist wasn't shit. You know what I mean? But obviously that's probably 3% in the last 28 days. If we go back to the entire, I would love to hear for that song, Psycho Part 2, right? The full life of the song, algorithmic and editorial.
I don't know how to. You tell me how to access the full life of a song, where you could see the percentages.
Yeah, well, you just got to go to all time.
It'll say last 28 days, 30 days, 60 days. It'll say all time.
Yeah.
But when you press last 12 months,
it won't show. It won't show for source.
That's what I'm saying. Sources of streams just stays at last 28 days.
Oh.
But anyway, for Are You Entertained, 62% comes from, or 65% comes from my profile, listeners' own playlist and library, and other listeners' playlists, and then 32% comes from algorithmic and editorial. So it's 65, 32, and whatever the fuck else is other percent.
All right. So you're saying it's about 32, you said?
Yeah.
So if it's 32 for you, a nigga who really don't really get too much playlisting, what the fuck you thinking is for a nigga like Drake?
Well, hold on. This was for a song with Ed Sheeran, who I'm not going to usually get that kind of playlist.
It's still not Ed Sheeran's song. So, players, if that's when you feature the nigga, imagine when it's the nigga.
Oh, I'm sure he's getting a lot, but what I'm saying is that it's not the majority.
That's why I was coming to the numbers of saying Drake getting over half.
No, but it's not the majority as well. And the point that was being tossed around the internet was that the majority, an overwhelming majority of artist streams is coming from editorial, and that is just, it's not true.
Russ,
I don't believe that.
So what are you disputing what Tory said? Like specific to Tory, what are you disputing?
I already talked with Tory.
Yeah, this is
talked on the phone yesterday.
This is Jonah. I was on the call too.
Oh, Jonah. Exactly.
What's good?
So you were on the call. We talked about how I didn't think it was blackballing.
Yeah.
And then he explained in specifics. I'm not going to get into the specifics he said.
Yeah. But I guess my question to you is, like, we had the conversation. We came to, like, all right, cool, this is kind of where it's at. And then it feels like today you felt a different way about it when addressing it online. So I'm just kind of like confused as to like
No,
what.
I've felt the exact same way. I felt that it's not blackballing. I felt the word is being used incorrectly, in my opinion.
For sure.
That's been my stance. Now, I
Wouldn't
understand
you?
what Tori was saying about the specifics.
Yeah. Would you say? But when you say taking him off the platform, I know one thing that we were talking about yesterday was like, yo, that's deplatforming an
No, I
artist.
never said deep.
Facts.
No,
That
no,
I don't even. That
I'm
doesn't
saying
even
what he
make
said.
any sense. I said that's blackballing. Tori said that's banning.
No, so
Yeah, that would be
what
deplatform. It's like Andrew Tate. He's not blackball. Like I mean, he's blackball, but he's also
Andrew Tate is
deplatform.
blackball. What are we talking about?
No, he's
yeah, what
blackball,
I,
but he's deplatform. Deplatform is you don't even have a chance. You're not even a club.
See, to me, right? To me, that's blackballing. We're not
so
even letting you. We're not even giving you a shot. You're
yo, so Russ,
blackballing.
I'm gonna give you an example with another piece of content, like outside of music, because I feel like we live in this bubble where like music is the most important thing. So it's like everyone's gonna go and search up their favorite artist. But like, let's take it to like TV shows or something like that. I'm a fan of Top Boy. If
Mhm.
I'm going on Netflix and I'm turning on my TV and I don't see Top Boy a new season's out, I'm not gonna know because I'm not following the actors, I'm not following the show. So in the same way, for example, my younger sister, her favorite artist being like Kaylani, she's not
Mhm.
gonna know when Kaylani drops a new body of work unless she goes and opens up her phone and sees something under new music for Apple Music. And I think that's where it's becoming. We're not even talking about like editorial. And I know Ack was like
Mhm.
pulling up some specific playlists. Like Tori is on New Music Friday Canada this time. This is his first time being on New Music Friday Canada since 2 years plus.
Right.
He's on specific playlists. He's been added back, and I think a big part of why he was added back to specific playlists, whether that be
It's
rap
probably
lyrics or
because I've been making a lot of fucking noise. Like, let's keep it
because
a
of the
hundred.
voice.
Big
Like I
Act been
haven't,
talking. Everybody don't want to be because like I ain't gonna lie. Trust
No,
me,
but hold on.
the
To
way I'm
Jonah's
talking,
point,
Spotify, Spotify cuts me a check, a very large one. They don't want. They will be like, yo, Act, let's move on from this topic because they're the biggest streaming platform. However,
yeah,
I'm
but
a
hold
man
on.
of rights.
Let's get to Jonah's point of if you go look for Top Boy on Netflix and it's not under new releases, you're not going to know it came out. I'm not
yeah,
disagreeing with you. My point is that's how big of a fan is that? You
no,
feel
for
me?
sure.
And is the fan base predicated on majority of that kind of fan, or is it majority of core audience? And if it's majority of that kind of fan, then in my opinion, the focus should be on building the type of fan who doesn't need to be reminded 86 times that, oh, hey, I got a new Top Boy episode and it's on the front of Netflix. They probably know a new episode is coming out, or a new season came out because they keep up with the show.
But just to go back to reference, like what you were saying earlier, even about your Instagram, like you post a tour and you're not getting a lot of engagement. Right now, social media, it's not in a place where if Tori posts about his project, his fans are gonna know. It just isn't. Like the way that the data
Unless
is,
you run ads.
unless you run, there's things that you can do to mitigate it, but we can't act like there isn't gonna be a huge discrepancy between putting out that having the front page placements and all sorts of things like that. It's not the same
Yeah.
thing. Would you disagree with that or?
No, I don't disagree with that.
So just like, wouldn't you suggest, and this is just like an example, because you were talking about the store thing. You're saying that a banner across Walmart all around
Right.
saying new Tory project. We don't need that. But if we're walking into the mall and we're walking through the store and we can't find Tory's project within the store, which is pretty much what it is, because if someone's going in,
No,
we
but
don't.
see that part, Jonah, that part's not true. Come on.
Okay, so what? So in what sense?
Because you're acting like you can't find Tori's music. That's not true.
You have to search. You have to search it, but how many people are actually searching music? Is what I'm saying. Like, for example, and let's take it to a specific
No, but
product.
let's use his fans though. Let's use his fans. That's what we need to talk about.
Let me make a specific example, and you can tell
Go
me
ahead.
if you don't agree with it. Prime, the Logan Paul KSI product that
Yeah.
like everywhere. If I walk into Walmart and I see Prime somewhere, I'm probably gonna buy it. I haven't seen it in Canada
Sure.
yet, so I'm gonna buy it. But I'm not going up to people in the store asking them, "Yo, where can I find Prime?" Similar to what Axe
Sure.
said earlier. It's very similar to like the Tory project. If I don't know Tory dropped a project, for multiple reasons. Like I said, Instagram people aren't reaching their followers anymore. You just don't
Mhm.
know. People are casual fans that like to listen to his music but aren't
Sure.
following him on social media. They're not going to know to go to Apple Music and search Tory Lanez. So when they don't find the music in the new music playlist or whatever it may be, And how are they going to go and find his music without
And
that?
what you're commenting on is a passive fan, someone who's not really a fan. Because you're talking about, well, if I'm not shoved the material, the product, whether it's a prime drink or whether it's a new album, if I'm not shoved in my face that I have some new album out or whatever, how could I find it? It's like, okay, I understand. You're speaking from a passive fan's perspective.
That's the majority of fans, though.
Are passive.
I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of passive fans. What I'm saying is that we cannot sit here and act like if a store decides to stop pushing something at the front of the store, but keeps you in the same sports drink category that Prime is in or whatever the fuck it is, it's not blackballing. They just are not promoting you as much as they used to promote you. I'm not saying that that's not going to affect numbers. I'm not saying that it's fair, it's unfair. It is what I'm saying that in the first place, it's not our God-given right to get that promotion.
All right, hold on, Russ. Like instead of talking in circles, let's figure out a word.
No, but I
for
also want to, because Jonah, I asked, the reason why Tori got you on the phone yesterday was because I asked Tori if he did a Spotify marquee campaign, and he was like, "Let me call my guy Jonah." Did you guys do a? You don't have to tell me if it's too many details.
No, for sure. No, we did a marquee campaign. It's activating. The way we approach marquee campaigns is because, like you said, marquee campaigns taps into your listeners. You don't want to do it within the first few days because you want your actual audience to go listen to your music. As soon as it's aggregated the data of like how much people have listened to it, then you activate it on the the end of near the end of the week. So we activated, I think, yesterday the marquee campaign. And
and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Did you spend enough money where you reached all of your listeners, where your listeners, and you did the kind of marquee where every single monthly listener that Tori has gets a notification on their phone?
We completely maxed out the ability. I don't know.
So then everyone who's a monthly listener of Tori got a notification on their phone that Tori dropped.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's necessarily true of how marquee.
Well, it depends on which kind of marquee campaign you did. That's what I was asking.
There's multiple ones, but I'm saying I don't know if it can actually go and reach every single monthly listener. I don't know if that stat that you said is actually true. I think
it is true. I just ran one. It is true.
So every one of your monthly listeners got like a push notification or something when they open the app.
Got a push notification. Now you only have to pay
for
the ones who actually click on it. So not everyone's going to click on it. They might get the notification and X out of it and be like, fuck this, right? Go back. Like you could go on Twitter and see when I was putting the song out, I was getting tagged hell of the time. Why the fuck is Russ popping up on my Spotify? Why did I just get a notification that Russ dropped? I don't give a fuck. Because it was going out because I paid money.
I just think there's like a very clear difference between what Tori's going through and what a lot of other artists are going through. Like, and that includes, Baby Young Boy. Like, I think Tori's in a unique situation. I think similar to what Ak just said, because Ak was so loud over the last week, they've pushed back on certain things. Like, we got the email notification Friday night that he got slotted into Rap Life. We know that's not normal.
Tori, you owe me a check, nigga.
Yeah, that's a fact. So it's just like, it's one of those situations. Like, even if you go look at, I texted this to Ak. Why did I? We're talking about, the Color Violet came out last year. Why did I came out a few weeks ago, the week before the project. It's been less than 30 days, 0% on Spotify editorial.
Here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing that something isn't happening. This is what I've been saying. My whole stance has been the same. I agree with you. There's been promotion that has not been given to y'all. That's usually given to you. What my whole point is that's just how it goes sometimes. And we can't be entitled to think, I just deserve that and you should be giving it to me. Of course, sure. We all as established artists who have done numbers, whatever, we all think that everything we drop, you should be playlisting it. This shit is hot. Look at the numbers. Look at the streams. All this shit. I thought Are You Entertained featuring Ed Sheeran should have gone in today's top hits out the gate. I thought it should have gone to Rap Caviar. It didn't. And I can't get mad at that. Even though I've been in both those playlists before, I can't be mad at that. Because this time around, for whatever reason, they didn't decide to do that. And now my point is that I don't know what the fuck happened, right?
No, I get what you're saying.
But let me just finish if you do things like if anyone knows, I do, about living with the consequences of my actions in the industry, you know what I'm saying? I do. So the reality is that I'm aware I've rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I've pissed a lot of people off. It's probably burned a couple bridges. It's probably blocked me from certain opportunities because at the end of the day, this whole game is just about relationships and your people skills and how much people fuck with you. And I'm aware that, there might be people at the VMAs or the Grammys or the This Awards or at Spotify or whatever that are like, yeah, we met Russ one time. He was drunk and he was a dick and he was an arrogant asshole. I'm aware that they are completely allowed to use that personal problem they have with me and say, yeah, my little bit of power that I have over this playlist, I got a little bit of power in life and it's owning and it's curating this playlist. And I don't fuck with you because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to put you in it. That is life. That's just, it's unfortunate. You can sit and say it's unfair and all these things. My thing is that the stance of you are entitled to it is what trips me up, because I'm like, hold on. I understand feeling like you worked hard and the numbers are there and all these things, but we're just not entitled to it. And in fact, they're proving that you're not entitled to it.
For sure. I'll say, I think this is the part. I think when we're putting it out there, and by we, I'm like saying like Tory, when Tory's going out there and being like, yo, I'm blackballed, I'm not getting these looks. And then you go on Twitter and your IG story and you're just like, if I don't get on Rap Caviar, if I'm not on today's top hits, I guess I'm blackballed. It almost diminishes what we're trying to say and the message we're trying to put out there, which is like, yo, we're really not getting no looks. Like for the last 2 years, I'm not talking about this project. Thankfully, guys like Ak were loud and like really stood up for Tory, and then people started making changes. But for the last 2 years, got no looks. And when you're making it about specific massive playlists, which don't get me wrong, even when Tory was in the label system, even when he was independent, there would be songs that would come out and we'd be like, yo, this deserves to be on Rap Caviar.
Of course.
And we wouldn't get the look, but we're not screaming, yo, we're blackballed for that. We're screaming, yo, we're blackballed when we drop a project, it's #1 on Apple Music, and you can't find it nowhere on the home screen. And
it wasn't even under new releases, by the way.
But see, we're just talking in circles. My stance is that the term blackballed shouldn't be used. I agree something's happening. I just wouldn't call it blackballed. That's it.
What would you call it? We gotta come and put a name for it.
All right, bet.
What would you call it?
Wait, first Jonah they got blackballed. They used that word blackball, and that's what the title was for it. But it's not really blackballed if you're going by Russ's definition.
I differentiated between deplatforming and being blackballed. I think blackballed can be like looked at in a lot of different contexts. I'm not saying my definition.
See, Jonah, here's my thing, right? The reason why blackball, using it the way you've been using it, a lot of people have been using it, why for me it's a really slippery slope in a gray area, and why I was making a joke at the term blackball, not really Tory, making a joke at the term blackball, is because of how it's been being used. By saying I'm not getting on playlists and not getting certain looks, it's like, okay, but according to that definition, then any artist who doesn't get certain looks that they've gotten in the past could make the argument that they're blackballed.
It's essentially shadow banning. But when we think about the music industry, the term we're more familiar with, because shadow banning sounds like a Instagram term. The term we're more familiar with in the music business is blackball. But you're right, it's shadow banning because the tech company, which is Spotify or Apple Music, they're editing a nigga out of their algorithm, right? And again, it would be equatable to a Instagram user who, no matter if he is posting
that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying based on people's definition of blackballing, Jonah's, people in the comments, whatever, based on that definition, I'm genuinely asking if me as an established artist, if I put out a song that usually I get at least Hot Rhythmic or Signed XO, if I put out a song, I pitch it 3 weeks in advance, I send it to the Spotify playlist, whatever, and it doesn't get in any playlist, couldn't I technically, based on y'all's definition?
Nah, bro, it's not.
No. Hold on. Wait, no. I agree. No. I'm agreeing with you. Hold on. Wait. Russ. I'm agreeing with you.
Hold on. Let Jonah answer the question.
Wait, Russ.
No, bro. It's again. I think we got to look at the context of the situation, which is why I'm even pointing out Tory, and I'm not going into other artists. Is Tory was at the peak of his career, having more success than ever before, continued to get bigger. I know Ak mentioned this in their podcast together. Yo, Tory, you're hotter than you ever been before. Just like culturally, it is what it is. His fans are engaging more than ever. When an artist that's been getting X amount of support is completely, I'm not talking about, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with conviction if Tory was still getting a little bit of looks. He was getting New Music Friday Canada, Laura, new music. He was getting certain small rap playlists. He was completely wiped off every single thing. So just like
even new releases, when you drop a song, he wasn't even on new releases, which every artist gets. that has a following.
Russ, hear me out. I'm not trying to discredit
but that part is also not true. I just want to make that clear. Not every artist who has a following gets posted under new releases. All of my songs that come out don't go under new releases.
I'm glad you said that, Russ. Russ, I'm glad you said that, right? Because hold on, Jonah, hold on real quick. And again, Jonah's point and even Ray's point, they're specific to Tory's team, so they're speaking for him. You know me, I try to extrapolate and try to speak to the bigger picture. I tweeted out like even sales projections today. So you're telling me that the #1 debut hip hop album for the next coming week can't be found on none of the front pages of none of the DSPs, and we're just like, oh no, not everything. We're not talking about some shit that barely makes the list. This is gonna be the #1 debut, the #1 new debuting album that's hip hop.
Doing anything. This is what I keep. I don't know why y'all are acting like I'm saying nothing's happening. Absolutely, something's happening. He fell out of favor with a company that doesn't feel safe aligning themselves with his brand currently.
And that's our issue. It's like we're like, yo, you guys are taking a position at a specific point in time.
No, they're taking but see, in my opinion, they're taking no position. They're being neutral. Taking a position would be like
that's cap.
Because this goes back to the entitlement thing. This is what I'm saying.
Wait, they're being neutral?
Hold on, let me make the whole point, right?
What about if Meg's lying? What about Meg lying? That shit, be neutral. Get Meg out of if Meg wasn't in no playlist, I wouldn't even say a word. If they both were in it, and that's the thing, I'll be like, you know what? You keep it.
To agree with that point. I agree with, because if we're going to be neutral, then do that. But what I'm saying is that Tory not being in playlists and getting looks isn't them taking a position. It's them being neutral. If they were, because him getting in those playlists is not his right. Does he deserve it off the numbers, off the fans, for sure? But they can also still simply say no. And Jonah, I know every established artist knows they've had songs that have had crazy numbers, fans are going crazy, and it didn't get playlisted simply because people just didn't, at the playlist didn't fuck with it. My point is that, in my opinion, taking a position would mean you can't fucking sell your music on our store anymore. You're out of here. That's our position. We just took a stance. Taking a position is not, oh, we're about to show y'all we don't support him, but we're gonna still cut him checks. That's not what
DSPs already do that, and then they circumvent by doing what they're doing now, because they did that before.
Say that again.
They did that before with X, with when that whole X thing happened, it was taking down people's music, and they had backlash against that. And then to circumvent them doing that, they do what they're doing now.
Yeah, this is the bitch made way of doing what they did before. They're just picking and choosing.
Well, hold on. But this is the neutral way of doing what they were doing.
You just said you don't agree. If they're not being neutral with Meg, this is not being neutral then.
No, I said no. Hold on. I said the stance of, because this was never y'all's argument. The stance was just, why isn't he getting playlist?
It's a point that is kind of like
up until 2 minutes ago was never.
Yo, Russ. All right, Russ. Hold on, Russ. I'm gonna go with your point, and even if we go with that point, I could name, and I'm just not trying to make it hot because I guess I've just had a loud microphone around myself recently. Like, I know 5 other niggas been accused of domestic violence or some shit. Some of them who beat it and some of them who still going through it. They don't get that treatment, brother. Let's not act like this is a neutral stance they're taking. This is something targeted. This is something they have figured out. If we pick this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, they're not liked the most by the public right now, and we could pick and choose who we're doing this to. This ain't neutral at all. Neutral would means, hey, anybody accused of certain shit, we're going to be neutral and stop giving you the privileges because the privileges was the fluff. No, they're picking and choosing. You're getting the fuck on out of here. Fuck your case. Fuck what's going to be the truth that we find out later or what the law is going to say. We're going by the court of public opinion. The mere fact that they're judging and everybody being targeted in the court of public opinion is more chastised and criticized there than actually in the real court tells me they're not being neutral. They're just going off what people are saying. Hey, y'all don't like this guy? Oh, y'all said he did what? Okay, y'all won't give us backlash. We're trying to whatever. Let's get him off of here. That's really what it is. That's not neutral.
Hold on. So we're going to, once again, I'm not saying nothing's happening. I'm saying I wouldn't call that blackballing. And y'all are just acting like...
No. I get exactly what you're saying.
Y'all are just acting like, my music's still being available to my fans, but it not being promoted y'all are blackballing me. It's just
What
I
about
just
it
wouldn't
being
call that
hidden?
blackballing. I'm not
What
saying
about?
it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying any of that.
Wait, hold
I'm
on.
simply saying
But
if
but
they were
wouldn't
to
that mean
What
you're
take
about
saying
it
that
hidden
nobody
and?
can be blackballed because anybody can upload their file to the internet?
say
No,
that
what
again, would
he
I
is
say that no one can be blackballed because they can upload their shit?
no. I get exactly what you're saying. I don't know why people don't understand. He's just saying the simple term blackball means pretty much to ban you from their platform. The fact that you're not banned from their platform, you can still upload music to their platform. You're not blackballed.
But
Simple.
to,
I don't
There
know
should
what's
be
so
another
but
confusing.
to be
term
clear,
for
though,
it.
that's
Yeah.
not the definition of blackball.
Definition of blackball.
But that's
Like
what he's saying. That's his definition. But I understand where he's coming from on that point.
Ray, what's your definition? You give me a
The def-
definition, or give me, if not a definition of blackball, give me a new term. Because
you
I mean,
listen,
everybody's been running with blackball for
hold on,
what's
no.
happening to
Yo,
Tory and these other
we're
artists.
arguing over a
I
term.
know, but
It
this
is
is
what it
Yo,
is.
this is what I'm saying.
we're arguing over a term.
That's why that's
I wanna
it's a
argue over the
slippery
action.
slope.
We're arguing over a term. I want to argue over the action. I think the action is
No,
fucked
but this,
up. I think the action is
but that's what this
indicative.
whole shit has been about. That's why this is
That's
ridiculous.
all Russ is doing is he's arguing about the term. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less.
Literally, I don't know what.
Literally
like,
just the term.
No.
I'm glad
That's not
someone
true. Hold
fucking
on.
gets it.
Like,
Wait.
All I'm
really,
really
it's
saying
nothing.
No.
is that
That's
it's
not true.
blackball.
No, that's not true because Russ also said these people are within their right. I don't think most of these, the majority.
They own the company. What do you?
No,
what?
most of these are actually independent curators. Well, not independent curators, they work for the company, but these are curators making the decisions. I'm telling you.
No, come on, man.
Ebro
Come on.
treats Apple
It's
Music playlist like it's his own personal shit. That's the truth.
Once again, listen. Once again, if we're going to go with that, means that you're blackballed. No one still has been able to answer my question.
what's your question?
Me, who has pissed off industry people and certain powers that be, right?
Yeah.
If I don't get certain looks on a new song that I did everything in my power to make sure I delivered it, technically, I could make the argument that I'm blackballed because I tweeted this shirt about Xanax and Lean, and I know the independent or the playlist curator, he listens to that type of music, or he likes this, or he has whatever. I could make the same argument y'all are making. That's why I think that word and term is a slippery slope because it's taking all the power out of the artist and the fans' hands and saying we are at mercy to playlists. And I just disagree with it.
No, and Russ, when we spoke yesterday, we agreed on that. Like, and I know Tori agreed on that too. When Tori was just like, "Yo, I'm right now."
But that's literally all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying.
So Russ, what would you say about 6ix9ine? What would you say his situation would be? What would the term you would use?
Is he still on the streaming platforms?
Yes, he is. His music is uploaded on the streaming platforms. He just doesn't get any looks.
He's not getting any looks because the company has decided not to promote him, which is, I don't know, kind of their prerogative when they own the company.
Russ,
and that's the term that they use blackball for when those DSPs and those platforms
I know how they're using it and why they're using it. My point is that then technically any artist who has ever pissed anyone off or been in a negative light in the media could make a case and say, hey, 2 years ago when I went viral for some negative shit, and now that I'm not getting playlisted and I'm only not getting playlisted after this negative shit, y'all are blackballing me.
No, not every artist. Hold on. Not every artist could do that. No, hold on. Yo, so Russ, I agree with what you're saying, and I completely agree. Except not every artist.
But explain to me how I'm for real. Like, and I would never say I'm blackballed because I've never felt blackballed. But
well, first of all, some artists are cold. Like, hear what I'm trying to say. No, hear what I'm trying to say.
That's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking.
You can't say any artist. We're talking about like if we
hold on. Let me ask the question. The question I'm asking is that according to y'all's definition of blackball, if Russ, right, has pissed off X, Y, and Z with the shirt, with this, with that, with tweeting this, couldn't I make the case that, I was getting a lot of playlists before then, now I'm not, even though it's been a couple years later, I feel like y'all are holding a grudge against me. Y'all are blackballing.
If your numbers wait. Yo, here's my answer to that question. If your numbers support that you should probably be in that mix or that litter, yes, you are getting blackballed. I don't care which artist it is.
Then I guess I've been getting blackballed because Are You
Well,
Entertained
join the fucking line,
10
nigga.
million
The
streams
fuck?
in the first week. It didn't get Rap Caviar. It didn't get today's top hits.
Russ, bro,
You gotta ask him what's up.
You're taking specific playlist ads that are massive playlists that could be very beneficial to the record and equating that to being blackballed. That's not what we're doing. That's why I feel like what you're saying and the dialogue that you're having is misleading to common viewers, because they're going to look at the situation and be like, yeah, Tori's just bitching about a few playlists. It's not that. That's not what we're here having the conversation about. Like, I'm talking about every single time. Russ, you're telling me every single time you've dropped a project in the last 4 years since you've been lit, or however long that's been, you haven't been positioned at the front of Apple Music. It might not be in the very front page, but somewhere that where people can find your music and it's accessible. And even when we're going to talk about source of streams, I know you said most of your streams comes from listeners' own playlists and your profile and catalog. When it says new music and it has Russ's project, when people click into that project and they save that project and they listen to that project every single day, those streams count as listeners' own playlist and library. It doesn't matter where they found it. So for you to say that you have to be on specific playlists and not being on those specific, like I think that you're giving 2 examples. That's blackballing. And so like, bro, we're going in circles and you know what we're trying to say. You're taking the
No. Once again, what I've been saying is the same shit I've been saying. I just wouldn't use the term blackball. I know what y'all are trying to say. Y'all are not getting the looks that you used to get and that you feel like you deserve to get.
I feel like we do deserve. Listen.
I'm not here to judge whether you deserve or don't deserve. I'm simply saying I wouldn't use the term blackball. That's all. This is like all this shit has been about, is that, in my opinion, it's just a difference in interpretation. In my opinion, blackballing is making it impossible for someone to work in that field anymore. If you're
hold on. Wait. Hold on. But with all due respect, though, right? Yo, Russ, like, I feel like you're filibustering this whole conversation. Like, you're stopping this.
I've been saying the same shit since the get-go.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, he's been saying the same shit.
Hold on. But that's exactly what filibustering is. Like, my nigga, like, you're stopping the conversation.
Look up the term filibuster. Filibuster is when you ramble and try to extend the length of time.
That's what you're doing. Hold on. We're trying to hold on, because
you're saying the same shit.
No, that's exactly what I'm accusing you of doing. You know why? Because we all get it. You've explained 30 minutes ago that we don't agree on what that term is.
Okay, so why are we still talking about it?
But we agree what the action is. So now, fuck what the term is. We know what the action is. Let's talk about the action. Do we think this action is something that is fair if it's being applied selectively? Let's stop using blackball. Let's make up a term. Let's call it X. Now let's talk about the action. What do you feel about the action? Because you said it was privileged before. I would say, and that's what we were getting to before, I don't think, like, the majority of the industry is based off of, I know maybe not for you, because you're one of one.
Academics, haven't we all heard of, like, the term, you pissed off the wrong people before?
I agree, yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that selective treatment and, you're letting this slide and not letting this slide. You pissed off the wrong people. Maybe they will let X, Y, and Z slide, but they're not letting A, B, and C slide. Because that's just maybe that's what it is. But that you pissed off the wrong people. That's all this shit comes down to.
How do you recommend for those artists to like continue? Because, like, you have to admit, they're now making music with basically.
But Tori is succeeding through it. He's doing 24K first week is no, like, chump change, small feat. Could he have done more if he got looks? For sure. But, like, he has real fans. He's going to be fine. He has people who stream his music. Is he missing out on more? Absolutely. Did he probably piss off the wrong people? Probably. And that is just consequences of actions, consequences of wrong place, whatever it is that, just like I said with my shit, if I pissed off the wrong people at one point in time, and that's what stopped me from getting X, Y, and Z opportunities, that's the consequences of my actions that I have to live with, and I have to take some accountability for that. I can't walk around life pissing off people, doing shit, saying shit, turning around, and then saying, I don't care if I pissed you off, You have to give me the same opportunities you gave me before I pissed you off.
Okay,
That's
all right.
entitlement.
Hey, hold on, wait. Just to advance conversation. So what I'm getting from Russ is saying on the record, he is completely okay with his music career, what he calls, because we talked about deals and selling your music, he calls it his soul. You are completely okay with what you make, your music, your soul, being completely controlled by a few people who maybe you didn't say hi to them in the club. Maybe it was a bad day. Hold on, they're gonna judge you.
Completely controlled? Completely.
Well,
completely? This is the narrative that's ridiculous, dog. Completely controlled.
I mean, controlled to a large extent.
No, dog. We're not about to say that your career is completely controlled, whether or not you get on a playlist or not. If that was the case, then artists who don't get on playlists are doing zero. Completely controlled? Come on, dog.
Well,
come on.
Listen, every artist in the game get on playlists, man. We're talking about artists in the game. We're not talking about niggas who shooting from outside the club, bro. Like, yo, if you're in the club,
I don't care how you break it down. No artist career is completely controlled.
The majority of them are heavily assisted.
Without playlists,
okay,
I do no streams. I have no success.
I ain't gonna lie. Yo, Russ is so good.
Extreme ass point.
Yo, Russ is so good with just like sticking on to some words. Like, okay, fine. Heavily assisted. Does that make it better? Like, instead of complete control? Like, bro,
just say the truth. I'm just not gonna listen.
Well, no. Yo, I'm just trying to say, like, yo, again, this is part of your career. This is part of what matters in you trying to get your music to a bigger audience. Music discovery isn't happening it's not happening on SoundCloud anymore. Okay, maybe TikTok, but it's not happening really on even Instagram or Twitter. It's happening on these playlists, on these DSPs. And if they say, for whatever reason, well, you know what? I don't fuck with Russ because of his fucking hair. Or whatever the case is, obviously some frivolous shit, right? But still, if they pick whatever reason, right? And they shut off, you know what I mean, that that
keep
portal.
Me out of the playlist. Compare apples to apples. They keep me out of the playlist.
Yes, they keep you out of the playlist. Now it's heavily shrinking your music discovery.
Heavily?
Yeah, heavily. It'll heavily impact your music discovery.
Okay, here's my thing. Once again, we don't own the companies. If I piss someone off or they don't like my hair and they decide, I don't want to put them in the playlist, it's not a matter of, oh, is Russ okay with that? I don't have a choice. It's not my company.
Well,
that's just fucking too, like, what is...
No one's disputing that part of it, though. No one's saying that, like, we have...
I know, but Akademiks is saying... Oh, so you're okay with that? I don't have a choice. You have to be okay with it.
But like, no, I get what you're saying. 100% on the same page, and that's kind of the mentality we take too, and that's how Tory's moving. Like, yo, I got to do everything I can to push my music.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. What choice do we have?
On the same page of that, but are you okay with it? I think that's like, and if we did not fight back, just putting this out
but listen, okay. My question is this.
Let me speak, please.
Go ahead.
Let's say Alone at Prom came out. We thought it was an incredible project. Fans thought it was an incredible project. Didn't get any editorial. Playboy came out. Fans thought it was an incredible project. We did too. Didn't get any editorial. If we weren't consistently fighting, being vocal, having other people like Akademiks being very vocal, we wouldn't even be in this position where we're getting some sort of wins on the board. So you saying, yo, like tough luck, just like charge it to the game. It's like, that's not a fair outlook, because us fighting back has provided progress. So of course we're going to continue to fight.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue to fight. And I'm not saying you're supposed to be okay with it. What I'm saying is that there is a degree of this that's out of our control. And some of it you can't change. And like you said, you can fight and vocalize. And guess what? You could have vocalized and they could have still not thrown y'all a bone. You see what I'm saying?
And that would have been... They did change it, though. They did change it a little bit.
Just listen, the point is that would have had to be something that you had to end up accepting. It's not a matter of, is that okay? Do you think it's okay? Should we be okay with it? It's a matter of like, fuck, man. We pissed off the wrong people. We're doing everything we can to tell them that this is some bullshit, and they're still not giving us the look. At a certain point, you do have to accept it, because it's not productive to keep trying to fucking fit the square into a circle.
Russ, do you think you undermine that?
Sometimes it just is what it is.
Wait, Russ, do you think you undermine that though when you trivialize the issue? Granted, I get it. You don't agree with the blackball term.
I don't trivialize the issue.
You trivialize the issue when you only limited to like, oh, y'all are talking like the dudes who are born in a silver spoon in your mouth. You're mad because you're not on Rap Caviar. The people we're all talking about, and again, I'm not Tory's spokesperson. I'm talking for like 5+ artists. they don't show up on nothing. You get what I mean? So it's like, again, it's when you say like, oh yeah, well you guys ain't on Rap Caviar, boo hoo, like
but
shit.
my
I'm not on
stance is
live.
still what it's always been. Those places they're not showing up at. Call
Even
it
new
fair,
music?
call it unfair, call it this is fucked up. The point is that none of it was ours to begin with. It's just not mine. I'm not entitled to it. Do I think all of my fucking rap songs that fit the criteria for Rap Caviar of this kind of beat, do I think they should all be there? Do I think all of my shit should be top of New Music Friday and whatever the fuck else y'all want to say? Absolutely. But at the end of the day,
situation where it at, dog. Like it's just like you're comparing it to a completely different circumstance.
no,
And
I'm comparing it to every look you're talking about is
Russ,
not, we're not entitled to.
When Akademiks was breaking it down, you agreed with what he was saying. You just said, I don't agree to the term blackballed. But now he's just talking about this specific action, and you're
I'm keeping the exact same stance. I said we're not privileged to anybody's promotion by a company we don't own. That's what I've been saying.
Hi, bro.
We're not.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he's saying right there.
But like, explain to me how.
Because we aren't privileged to it. Like they can literally just say "fuck you" for the rest of our lives, and it is what it is.
All right, okay. All right,
like, explain to me.
No. So I'm trying to advance conversations. Right? And this is
Academics. Just I know, but let that question simmer for a second.
Yeah.
Me saying we're not privileged to anybody's promotion of a company that we don't own. What about that is untrue?
Yeah, you're right. But also, let's say
there's no but though.
There is a but. There's always a but. Because how about we go tell Taylor Swift she wasn't privileged to more than what she was demanding in terms for a stream, right? She put the whole fucking music industry on hold that Spotify, Apple Music had to pay artists more. So you are, like, as an artist yourself who said this is your soul, of course you're privileged to more. You're telling me that you're gonna wait. You're gonna tell me you're gonna lay down and die, and they're gonna do whatever they want to do with your music?
Who said that? What I'm saying is I don't take the stance mentally that
you gotta take a stance. Period.
To promotion based off of what I think the requirements are.
Listen, I'm just telling y'all. Listen, your point of view is, well, what are we gonna do, y'all? You know, this is like the slaves and the slave master. Like, well, what are we gonna do, y'all? If we try to get off the plantation,
just being technical as fuck. That's all it is.
Bro,
straight to the
when Taylor Swift was told, when Taylor Swift was told, number one, y'all got antiquated contracts. Y'all don't get paid for these songs via streams, and also this is the rate via streaming. You know what Taylor Swift said? Nigga, fuck that. We're going to have to take a stance. And by the way, again, that's why I speak up, because it only gets from bad to worse. You get what I mean? So I know when you say you're taking a stance mentally, but what you going to do? Like, just like fucking, just pray on it? No, you got to speak up. That's why I encourage all the artists. I love to see all the artists jumping in, because you know what? Makes it more transparent. And you're right. Like, listen, what can Tory do now? He got to put the fucking work in. What can, let's say, Youngboy, the baby, 6ix9ine, put the fucking work in. No excuses. But this shit doesn't get better. This shit's going to get worse.
Here's my point. And this is what my point's been. My point is this. I don't feel entitled to promotion. Let me make the whole point. I don't feel entitled to promotion, privileged promotion from a company I don't own, which is why I just worry about what I can control. I try to make the best music that I can make, that I love, and I try to put it out consistently. If this one hits, cool. If this one doesn't, cool. But you know what? I have faith in me, and I don't like the idea, and I don't subscribe to the theory that I can't be as successful as I see in my head without these looks in X, Y, and Z. I disagree with that. That is how I feel. I understand if you feel differently, if your career has gone a different way that has shown you otherwise. Me personally, I'm taking the stance that, you know what? Between me, my music, and my fans, I'm going to get whatever the fuck I want to get. And if people don't want to help along the way, AKA promote me, push me, whatever, that, you know what? I'm not owed that.
Completely different, Russ, completely different. It's completely different when you're basically saying, "Hey, I'm rolling the die, and if I get like a 6, great, I'm on a playlist. If I get a 4, I'm not." Okay, cool. Which I don't think no artist. I wouldn't even sit here and really even go to bat for any artist who thought they were entitled to shit. I'm talking about the niggas who are removed from every